What are some of the things like, that have been really rewarding to grow? Like what works best?
Probably our green beans, our yellow wax beans, those type things. They grow abundantly here. We can anywhere from 100 to 150, 200 jars of green beans a year. We eat fresh almost, I would say 7 to 8 months out of the year. I have fresh green beans because of the greenhouses. We're just fixing to start our fall garden, and I just planted some of the yellow wax beans in there. I love the English peas. The English peas produce pretty abundantly here. Then Danny's corn that he plants for the chickens and the cows, and then we make our own grits and cornmeal from it. The corn is called Danny corn. He created it about 30 years ago. It does really well here. We've had a good luck with Cherokee Tan pumpkins. It's something that a friend sent a seed from the Cherokee Indians that he has grown for several years. And when we planted it, it grows and produces a little small pumpkin that you can use in any way you would pumpkin or sweet potatoes. We grow sweet potatoes like crazy. The sweet potatoes are something that we live on daily. They're a health food. They are a superfood. And we eat sweet potatoes, whether it's fries, a dessert, a baked sweet potato. I've even made sweet potato cornbread. I have a recipe on my channel. One very delicious thing is sweet potato cornbread. So, we have such a variety here, and most everything's pretty easy to grow in the Deep South.
Okay. What do you recommend for someone that's just starting out? They're afraid of homesteading. They're afraid of the work. It's all new to them. What are some of the first things that they could attempt to grow that would be easier than others?
Probably a few beans and tomatoes or peppers. Those type things are pretty easy to grow. Sometimes cucumbers. Those things will basically, once they come up, they just keep going as long as you don't overwater or anything. Beans produce for a certain amount of time, so you would get several weeks or at least 3 weeks of eating beans fresh. If you planted enough, you would have enough to can. It's according to space. I would say most people are limited in space, so we could kind of encourage people to start in containers, raised beds, flower beds in their yards, things like that. But containers is one of the easiest ways. You don't have to have a huge container, but a container of some sort to grow in. And herbs. Herbs are easy if you use a lot of herbs, but beans, tomatoes, peppers, those are pretty easy.
Okay. What are some newer additions you have to your homestead that you've been trying that maybe are more difficult, but you really enjoy?
As far as vegetables?
Or fruits or whatever you can grow.
3 years ago, we added 2 ponds. So we stocked them. So growing fish has been really easy because they grow themselves. We just kind of throw a little feed out there every now and then. We added the greenhouses 3 years ago. We have 2, I guess you would call them high tunnels. And I've been pretty much growing anything in there. We've grown citrus in there. We've actually grown blackberries in there. I grew pumpkins. I've grown popcorn, beans, okra. I'm trying to think. I've grown almost everything. One year I had a Cherokee garden in my high tunnel. Everything was Cherokee, popcorn, Cherokee, pumpkins, Cherokee yellow.
What does that mean, Cherokee? What do you mean, Cherokee?
That's the first part of the variety, I guess. And I was going for
what does that mean,
Cherokee garden.
So what does that mean, a Cherokee garden?
Okay, so in my greenhouse, I kind of give it a theme lots of times. So that year, that was last year, the year before, I can't remember which year, I decided I wanted to plant everything that possibly the Cherokee Indians had planted, and that would have included, and the seed companies, I guess, decide on this name, but they put Cherokee in front of it. It would be Cherokee yellow wax beans, the Cherokee tan pumpkins, the Cherokee popcorn, the Cherokee purple tomatoes, and I had just a whole garden in there. Had that name in front of it. They all grew abundantly in that high tunnel. And so I had a whole garden. I kind of theme my garden sometimes.
Have you ever had like a biblical foods garden? Have you ever themed it that way?
I probably should. That's a great idea. I think with that southern gardens, I tried the southern gardens and I did like okra And, the things that we grow here in the South, and I have grown sweet potatoes in the high tunnel. We just harvested some. Danny grew white grapes last year, and we still have the vines. This year it was so hot that the vines did not produce. They put on the little grapes, but they didn't take due to the heat. That's one of the major problems here, is that this summer got extremely heat, the hot for our area. But he grew tags of white grapes in his high tunnel last year, and it was amazing. Fresh white grapes that we grew ourselves.